Do you think that your dog thinks that Do you think that your dog thinks that he owns you? Well, think again. You see what I did there? Your dog definitely doesn't think like that. The problem is you. Or the problem are trainers that are making you think something like that. You asked me to review this video, so let's give it a shot.
In this video, we're going to uncover the top 5 signs that your dog thinks they own you and not the other way around, which leads to a lifetime of stress, a dog that doesn't listen to you, embarrassment, sometimes injuries, sometimes lawsuits, and so much more. But luckily,
Nothing like some good old scare tactics. Cause if you can't explain things or if you want to become much more popular, then why not scare people into believing something? You know what, maybe I should also try it. If you don't want to get animal control taking your dog, and if you don't want to get sued for animal abuse, don't abuse your dog. But let's see what he thinks dogs do that tells us that they are trying to control the world and how he thinks we should fix it.
who's in charge of the relationship between you and your dog?
No one. That's exactly what relationship is. It's a relationship. When just one person is in charge, it's probably called an abusive relationship. It's okay to have rules, it's okay to have boundaries, but you can't control every little single thing that the dog is doing, or even your kid, right? I mean, even kids are allowed to do things and are allowed to make mistakes, and we teach them.
All you got to simply do to answer that question is look at the behavior at the front door and ask yourself, does your dog think they own the front door?
Why would the dog think that he owns the front door? Or why would that say anything about your relationship? It just means that your dog is triggered by maybe people coming to the door or by sounds outside. You know, we get dogs many times because of their territorial nature. We use them as guard dogs. A dog that doesn't respond to anyone at the door, that's actually kind of sus.
That look like? When there's a knock at the door, your dog goes apeshit crazy as the first one there, barking, clawing, acting a fool, and you cannot regain control of the situation.
Yeah, that happens quite a lot. And yes, it can be annoying if you can't get your dog away from the door, but there are ways to do it.
Put the leash on in anticipation of Aunt Susie coming over with those beautiful deviled eggs. Put the leash on when you know the mailman's going to be coming. Obviously, you're going to put the leash on before you go for a walk, but use the leash as God intended.
So if you know that someone is coming to the door to deliver those devil eggs or whatever they are, why not just put the dog in a different room, like in a safe place with some nice quiet music, with some resources? Why expose the dog on purpose to something that might trigger this behavior and then get mad, get embarrassed, maybe have your dog bite someone and then get sued? You see, I can continue with this theme of scaring people.
So that you can talk to your guest or talk to the camera and get perfect, beautiful control with your dog with fingertip pressure.
You can also communicate with your dog by communicating. I don't know if you noticed, but both me and him have this thing on our face. It's called the mouth. We can communicate with it. We don't always need to use force. Now, I will say that if that slight pressure is not causing distress to the dog and is actually associated with something good. So for example, every time I tug on the leash, I give the dog a treat so he knows to kind of like turn to me and do an alternative behavior, then it's okay. But if it's associated with punishment, then it's just the opposite of what you want to do. I love the swirly effect.
The most common signs we can see that a dog thinks they own you and not the other way around is simply put, when they don't listen to the most basic of commands.
They don't listen, or they just don't know what those commands actually mean. Because these are two completely different things. Also, it doesn't mean that your dog thinks that he owns you. It just means that he's not motivated enough to do what you're asking him, or there's something else motivating him to do something else.
They're wilding out like one of them teenagers you used to see on the Maury Povich show, the Montel Williams show, or maybe Dr. Phil. Catch me outside, you know what I'm talking about.
Catch me outside. How about
I have no idea what he's talking about.
that?
What does that mean?
First
I don't know.
thing I want you to understand is your dog may not understand the words coming out of your mouth, so you can yell and scream out all day. This is Mr. Bubba here, just got into our program. He doesn't know how to sit her down. Watch. Sit, sit, sit.
Exactly. So if he doesn't know, then he doesn't know.
Can't be mad at him. He doesn't know what I'm saying. So instead, first thing you got to figure out is, do they know what you want? So we can get that sit with a food lure. Ooh, baby.
So what exactly did he do here? He lured the dog up without actually giving any cue. And then when the dog sat down, he gave him a treat and clicked. But there's no conditioning here. There's nothing that connects what he wants the dog to do with any cue or the dog actually doing it.
That's not him being non-compliant. He just didn't know. Or even better, and you're eventually going to have to go there, teach them how to respond to leash pressure so that they're butter soft and reliable on the leash so you can get that killer down. And more importantly, you can come out of the back room like the drill sergeant on one of those shows when those kids...
So now he pulled on the leash, and when the dog was down, only then he rewarded. So he did reward the dog for being in the down position, but he didn't actually reward pulling on the leash. So it still doesn't actually create an association between that pressure and going down. The dog is not going to learn anything from that.
Come out of the back room like the drill sergeant on one of those shows when those kids...
Don't cry now. You know why? Because it hurts me too.
In case your dog's wilding out, you grab that leash and you make them sit and you make them down and you make them do the push-ups on the ground, and then the dogs will learn what time it is. You're not a soft, easy pushover mom or dad. You're a...
Okay, let me tell you a secret. I was actually in the military myself, and I was actually a commander myself. And you know what? Never had to make anyone do push-ups, never had to force anyone into doing anything. Why? Because I could lead by example. Because I understood that people are intelligent enough to learn by communicating and by example and by showing them when they're wrong and what they need to do. And yes, maybe in boot camp there might be a drill sergeant that tries to break you down, but even nowadays all soldiers know that this is just an act. Try to use this behavior on a dog, you're only going to make things worse and the dog is not going to learn anything. Basically, all you're doing is making your ego even bigger.
Your dog thinks they're a real estate mogul and they've parked their happy ass and basically built a hotel all over your home, just like it's a game of Monopoly, and they got Boardwalk Park Place and Reading Railroad covered with hotels.
That's the best way to play Monopoly. I always buy all the train stations and the water and electric stations. And yeah, I build hotels every single road that I get.
And you can no longer play on your own board, meaning you don't have access to your bed anymore. You can't get them off your couch. You can't get them out of your office, out of the corner. You just can't get them to move.
Out of the corner? If the dog is not allowed on the bed, on the couch, in your office, he's not even allowed in the corner. Oh, you need to get one of those inflatable dogs that you can take the air out after you're done messing with them, and then just put the dog in a closet or something like that. That sounds like the best dog for you.
Then you got a problem. So let me show you how he
I don't have a problem.
get his happy ass as if he was a squatter, which he is, trying to take up home on my couch. If you can't get that squatter evicted in no time flat, let me show you how.
Seems like the dog is usually allowed on the couch and that's why he's there. Yes, you can let your dog be on the couch in specific situations, and yes, it's okay to teach your dog to get off the couch and off the bed on a cue in a safe way. But if the presence of the dog on the couch by itself means that your dog owns you, then I'm sorry. the dog in this video owns this guy because he's actually doing all of the things that he's saying are signs that the dog owns you. So what does that mean?
Manos, get off. If you can't do that, then not only do you probably suck at the game of Monopoly, but you are losing at life and definitely at the relationship with your dog. Stay tuned. I'm going to show you how to fix it.
Oh wow, you're losing at life. If a dog on the couch is losing at life, that's not a life worth living. That's absurd. That's so weird. Let's see what the final pearl of wisdom that he has to give us.
Signs that your dog owns you and not the other way around is what we refer to as body positioning, or where you are in space.
Who is we? And why does the dog position have any indication about him owning me or me owning him?
One of the telltale signs is if you're sitting here like this with your dog on a leash, who's out front? And when you go to meet someone, well, am I meeting you and shaking your hand and I have to go over my dog while my dog's interfering and sniffing your crotch and getting all up in your business? That means he's owning the entire conversation with his...
Okay, so again, it means that his own dog owns him, right? Because he was on the couch and now he's sitting in front of him. By the way, I own my own car, and sometimes the car will be in front of me and sometimes I'll be in front of it. Does that mean that I don't own my car? Actually, I'm leasing it. So maybe that's why sometimes it's in front of me?
body. Instead, you need to claim space. He can be just as big and bad from here while I reach out and grab that package and shake a hand. Let me give you some other instances.
Wait. Time out. Hold it. If there's a problem with your dog, that you're afraid that he might control the situation if he's between you and that person that's coming to you, and even for safety reasons, for some reason you want him to be behind you, you're actually making things worse. And you know why? Because now you're not gonna be able to see what your dog is doing. Now you're putting yourself and the other person at risk. You're not able to read your dog's own body language. You're not seeing those signs that the dog is going to do something. And at the same time, you have maybe a stranger standing there facing your dog. So again, bad advice. I recommend not listening to it. You actually, if any, you want your dog next to you, or even better, don't have your dog in that situation to begin with. If you see that person and you know that your dog might react, then take your dog somewhere else. Don't interact with that person. Again, we don't want any liability issues. We don't want animal control to be involved. We don't want you to get sued. And of course, we don't want anyone to get injured. So basically, all of these things don't have anything to do with your dog thinking that he's owning you. They only have issues with an owner or with a trainer that his ego is so big that he thinks that these things have a meaning. Dogs can be complicated, yes, but they definitely don't think that they own you. They don't care about those things. What does it even mean that the dog owns you? They didn't even explain it. I can't watch it anymore. If there's another video that you want me to react to, please let me know. And please like and subscribe to this video if you like my video, not the original video. And in the meantime, apparently I've been saying in the meanwhile, and although it's grammatically correct, it's not the right way to say it. In the meantime, why not watch this video next?